13 pages slide. The agenda, it's about me. Favor, I think, has read about me. And for those who were here last week, you've also met me. So, but for the purpose of those who may be joining us for the first time today, I'll quickly run over that section. Then I love first principle, so we'll talk about that and the strategic approach where we can go for best practice in terms of principles. If you remember last week, we talked about principles. So best practice here is all about principles. And also we are going to talk about where we can get a use case or use cases as the case may be for AI. And I'm also excited that Faith Company is also building AI. And if you are interested, I can also share my story about AI at Microsoft, Copilot, and what we were doing at the product team while I was there to integrate AI in our products. So that's the agenda. Favor, I think we're fine, right?
So I'm good. I'm good to go, sir.
Okay. So, like I said, I won't dwell so much about this, but in case you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Oladipupo Bolaji. I love to be called Bolaji. We can talk about that another time. I've been in digital technology either as a product, as a software developer, IT project manager, or product. And I've been doing product full time for some 7+ years now. And the logo below the slides are just like some of the companies that I've worked recently. So you might know them. And if you don't know them, we can have that conversation later. So let's go into AI proper. So I think first I saw this cascade and I felt that it's always good to bring it up so that we understand what we're talking about. AI is not new. AI has been with us for like maybe since the 1950s or 1960s, right? From the early days of computing, we've had artificial intelligence. So, and this is actually the cascade, right? We have AI, then we have machine learning, which is a subset of AI, and we have deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning. So what we've been experiencing in the last 1.5 years, which is a generative AI, is actually a deep learning product, right? So where you have autocomplete at scale, while the transformer model of deep learning can actually, through a prompt, can complete the task with just a prompt. So, and using, natural language to be able to reason on the text and produce new set of text. Right? So that's deep learning. So in case you want a definition is or just a brief understanding of it is in this slide. So AI is the broad field. Machine learning involves training algorithms, feeding your data with algorithms to make predictions. So, and we've all been consuming machine learning, and deep learning, like I said, is also using neural networks. So you have neural networks, and the depth of your network, for example, the parameters in that network is going to determine how efficient and how powerful the deep learning outcome is going to be. So GPT-3, for example, billion parameter, then you have GPT-4, then we are now having GPT-4o, and so those are just that understanding. So I just think we need to bring this picture in mind to see how they fit. So from the expectation, I hear a lot of us saying we want to understand AI as a product manager. How does it fit into our role? Is it going to take our job? Is it going to complement us? So first, AI is not going to take our job. It's just going to make us better. So of course, there are some things that machine will do efficiently. And I think as we progress, we're going to outsource those things to the machine. And there are some things that humans do better, and we're going to be able to do that. But this stack is telling us where AI is and where AI is going. So let me quickly explain what I mean by this three layer of product, business, and tech. So you might have heard of big tech company like Microsoft, Google, IBM, or wherever launching AI product at the platform layer. So like, for example, Microsoft just launched Copilot plus PC as a category. What that means is that AI is getting embedded at the OS level. So that's the tech level, the code level, right? So most of the codes are being revamped and AI is going down to that level. So you have AI also at the business layer, and we have AI at the product level. So when you look at deep learning, for example, the model itself, the transformer model, is actually at the platform layer. But Chat GPT, for example, is a product where you just build a chatbot to be able to interact with that model. So you give it a prompt through an API interface, and the platform responds, and you sanitize it for maybe biases, and you want it to be correct, then you produce the output. So that's at the product layer. So this chart is telling us that as a product, people will always be relevant, right? Because as AI is going down to the platform, we need to build business case around the platform, the AI product. So we need to build product out of it. So we're going to be continuously relevant. And the thing to take out from this slide is also that we need to continue to think of our product line and see where do we want to add value to it using AI. Are you adding it at the product level, at the business level, or at the tech, the platform layer? So as PM, that really it's our responsibility to be able to, and it's going to be different, right, from business to business, product to product. And that's why we are talking about first principle strategy. So when we're talking about first principle, what are we talking about? We're just talking about breaking down the problem into the fundamental truths. And building that knowledge from ground up, right? So it means that we need to, as PM, to understand not really about the intricacies of how, for example, neural network works beyond the fact that model, you have a depth in your neural network and everything is model. So, but beyond that, we want to be able to now act, how do we apply AI from the first principle? So that truth about product management, which most of us on this call really, I'm glad we understand that we are a connective tissue, right? We're looking at the viability and the value of the products. So when we're introducing AI, we're asking ourselves, what value is this use case going to drive for my user? And how is my business going to make money? How does it align with our business goal? Because AI at this moment is not cheap, GPU is not cheap, you know, so it costs money to be able to deliver that. But at the same time, we need to understand that we sit in that position. And so we analyze how AI can address those elements, and we build strategies with AI as a core component. So you are not going to have AI strategy different from your product strategy. Rather, what you're going to have is put AI as part of your product strategy. So you're not going to have your product strategy different from your AI strategy. So your AI strategy should be infused into your product strategy. So that takes me to also this Michael Porter strategy definition. While this may talk about business strategy, it also can help us in understanding product strategy and how we can add AI to it. So when we're talking about strategy, in case you're new to strategy, what we're talking about is about choices and trade-off. So you need to do something different from your competitor, or you need to do the same thing, but you do it better than your competitor. Also, in your strategy, you need to choose what you're not going to do. So that's why strategy is very hard, because it asks you to focus. So what are you going to do? What are you not going to do? For example, AI is the buzzword. Everybody's infusing AI. If you look critically at your product and the stage your product is, and you're convinced that AI is not going to add any value to it, it's okay. It's fine not to add AI to it. It's about you choosing what not to do, and making it very explicit will just be fine. So I just felt that we need to always bring that to our conscious mind about strategy, that is really about trade-offs. So when we're not talking about strategic approach to AI, so I found three pillars or three approach very important from conversation and from what I've also seen people do in the industry. And these are the three strategic approach to AI. My recommendation is that over time you will either implement either 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3, depending on your product. So the first one is what I call the own strategy. The second is leverage, and the third is collaborate. So I'm going to break it down, and we have chance for question and answer, or you can also, I may not be able to see your hand if you raise it, but Favor can help me if something is not clear and you want me to double click on it on the spot. Okay, so this is just from, if you talk about media, for example, if you remember under go to market strategy, we always talk about own media, earned media, paid media. So I just borrow that framework and use it for this approach to AI. So I'm going to explain what I mean by own. Own means the AI capability that you build in-house in your product. So today we've been consuming AI before ChatGPT, before transformer model. We've been consuming AI either in form of robots or in form of machine learning. So we've had, for example, recommendation engine, people who buy this also buy this. You've had in your social media friend requests, topics that you should follow. Your feed is being governed by a machine learning, bringing relevance to you. So those things, I think, and I want to encourage us as a product manager, continue to invest in that area. Look at your products and see how you can build your data science capability to be able to have your own algorithm that can create value for your product. So it can help in discovery, it can help in retention, it can help in engagement. So that's what I mean by so it's usually around machine learning capabilities. Of course, if you can build GPT, that's fine, but it's very expensive to build GPT, right? GPU is very expensive. You need to download a lot of tests to train the model. When you finish training the model, you also need reinforced learning. You need people to, human beings, to actually interact with it before you launch it to correct that model to say, okay, this answer is wrong, this is right, this is not acceptable, and the model will take that in and use it to refine itself before you can launch it. So that area is very compute intensive, it's data intensive, and so you may not be able to go into that area. So, but the own area you want to continuously invest in it, ask yourself, my product, how can I use machine learning, the data that I have, how can I use it to produce more value to my customer and to my business? So the second strategic approach is leverage. So here you are going to use existing AI's API. So if you are building, you can plug into LLMs, large language models like ChatGPT, or small language models. So SLMs are coming out. For example, Khan Academy, right? So it's using SLM, partnering with Microsoft to deploy SLMs for STEM courses, mathematics especially. So that's what I mean by leverage. So you can create a chatbot or AI-driven customer support. And I can also tell you some other use cases where you can leverage existing AI LLM APIs into your workflow. The third strategic approach that you can take is to collaborate. So what I mean at this pillar is you open your data to third party, to developers, to other companies, and you just wait and be excited about what they are going to build. So you can have a marketplace. So for example, if you're building a SaaS product that already have a marketplace, so you can also have a marketplace for AI products where third-party developer, product company can build on top of your customer data, and your clients, your customer can install, add those AI add-ons as a value addition into the product, and you can share revenue depending on your business model, either freemium or they're paying it for it. So that is the collaborate stage. So remember, you may not be able to implement all the three pillars, but I think that as you go ahead, you should be able to do two out of three. So let's talk about best practices. So I think this is just after this, we just have one more slide to go. This is like principles. If you joined us last week, we're encouraged to think in principles. So when you are deploying AI, there are some guardrails and best practices that as PMs we want to ensure that we follow. First is that strategic alignment. So whatever we are building should align with business goals. So if we just don't want to follow the shining object syndrome. You don't want to build AI because AI is cool. So if you're not at the stage where AI is going to benefit your product, then don't make that choice. So AI feeds on data. So that means you have to improve on the quality of your data because it's just like garbage in, garbage out. So ChatGPT, for example, was trained on all the data available on the internet. And so, and as you interact with the model, you also get better based on the quality of data. So that's why if you train your AI on a not so good data, it's just like a child, right? That has a blank canvas. So if that child grew up in a toxic environment to learn bad language, you can expect that the language that is the child is going to be speaking will also follow that environment. So that's why data quality, data pipeline is very important. So then continuous learning, we'll talk about it. Reinforced learning, AI models will keep updated, relevant. The AI learning, just like we learn every day. So your model to be updated and relevant. Then the last is ethical consideration. So you want to address bias, you want to address privacy, you want to address security in the way you apply your AI. So you want to have consent. So if you're training your AI model on customer data, you want to ensure that they understand that you're using that data to train the AI and the value that you're going to deliver to them. So you always want to stay in that ethical space. And so I think this is very important for us. If you're looking at a company that has deployed AI use cases, I think I found Intercom as one good example. You can check Copilot for Microsoft, for example, or you may see more of a B2B uh, use case, except Copilot with Edge. But if you go through Intercom, which I've done, you'll see how they've used LLMs and AI, and you can begin to think of your product and how you can, use those AI APIs, and or whether you need to for build a machine learning capability for recommendation, for other algorithms to make relevancy important in your product. So this is my last slide, and I think it's thank you and Q&A. Favor.
So I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's my last slide. So it's time for
Okay.
Q&A. And while I wait for Q&A, I can talk to you a little about, oh, thank you. So it's now I'm seeing all the emojis, right? Thank you. So at Microsoft, for example, let me quickly tell you about how we're deploying AI while I was there. Some of our products, right, we're putting AI on them. For example, if you are using products for customer care. Okay, so for example, you're using Power BI, so and you want to interpret your results, so you can ask Power BI using natural language to interpret it for you, or you can just type and Power BI will generate, the report for you. You can say, okay, I need a sales report by geography. I need you to segment it. I need you to tell me. So if you are troubleshooting, for example, you can just, instead of going to the report, you can just tell me who are the top customer or top employee that violates security policy in the last so. Then it tells you, or you can ask the AI to tell you, how can I add in my product, what settings do I need to do, and it just tells you, okay, you do this, you do this, you do that, and do that. And it can also like go a step further and say, okay, help me accomplish that task. Then it does that for you. So there are a couple of use cases for AI. We can have question and answer,
Okay.
especially those who have expectations. If I've not met your expectation, we can talk about it.
Okay, please let our questions start rolling in now. Well, I know we all had our expectations for this evening. And thank you very much, Bolaji, for doing a lot on the topic.
If we don't have question, I
Okay.
have question for Faith. Faith, you dropped in the chat that you're implementing integrating AI into your business. Okay, so I have a question now. Have you worked with AI before? I don't understand that level of question. Are you talking about whether I've programmed AI or the PM have integrated AI into products? If it's the latter, yes. So yes, so at Microsoft, the last year was all about training all of us for AI, and also everybody looking at your products. How are you going to, you know, uh, put AI into it? So we're doing all that and identifying the best feature in our products that AI can leverage. So to that extent, yes. And also for the other one, which is machine learning. So remember, if you have built a product that is doing recommendation, that is doing relevance and co, you've actually been integrating AI into your product. So AI did not just start last year, or AI did not start with a chat GPT. So AI started from the time we were browsing Amazon, and it will tell us people who buy this also buy this. So that's AI that we're consuming. So if you've been building products for e-commerce, for example, or for social media, and you've been saying people who do this also do this, or if you've been building financial products and you're using AI to kind of project spend, for example. So in that context, I would say yes. And if you go online, I think there are some Python code that are so simple. even I think on LinkedIn Learning, there was a course then that I did on LinkedIn Learning. That was just very simple. It tells you how you can bring your data set, use Python, library to be able to do those recommendation and how you can interpret it into your product. So it's not something very difficult, but I don't expect you as PM to be the one to do the actual implementation. So it's just at the level of PM is at the strategic level and the work level to say, okay, we're going to use AI to enhance this feature of our products, or we're going to launch this to be able to create this value, and you work with your engineering team and data science team to be able to spec it out and deliver it. So there's someone that asks about AI, the difference between AI as a product and AI as a feature, as expectation. So you can unmute yourself and let me know if you've gotten clarity between the difference between AI as a product and AI as a feature. So, but if you're not on the call, that's fine. We are all learning it together. It's a new area. We'll continue to learn and get better at it. And remember this slide also. I think I have this slide. Yes. So you can be working at the platform level to build the AI. So if you're, for example, building new model, you are likely going to work at tech level. Or if you are leveraging what is in existence, you might be working at the product level or at the business level. So if you are working at the code level, I believe you're working at the AI as a product level. Or if you are moving upward, you are working at the feature level. So you are using AI to deliver a part of your workflow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bolaji. Well, I have a question. Actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we spoke about incorporating AI into product management. So my question is, how can we use AI to enhance the efficiency of product development cycles? Yes.
Good question, right?
Did you get my question?
So, for example, yes, I got your question. PDLC, product development lifecycle. How do you use AI to enhance it? So, we've been talking about AI in respect to the products. So your question to me is AI in respect to the people, humans in product manager, engineers, and co. So sometimes, you do user research as part of your product development. AI can help you shorten that. Not that it's going to generate the users for you and their responses, but you can ask AI, you can refine with AI, work with AI to refine the kind of questions that you want to ask your user. So that could be a starting point. So for example, so when you use that, so also when you're building your PLD, there are some specific, I think there's an AI product called Chat PLD that is specific to refining product spec documents. So you can have your PLD and take it to chat PLD for you to be able to refine that. So you can do that. For engineers, for example, you have GitHub Copilot, so they can always they can create code faster. So your development cycle can actually be shortened, and time to value, time to money is increased if you leverage AI within your workflow of building products. So engineers can use it to generate better code by just prompting. Product managers can use it. You can use AI as a partner to refine your strategy. Oh, I have this strategy. I have this presentation. Can drop it to AI and see what AI will bring out of it, and you get better. So how have I used it? For example, there was a time I needed to build problem statements. So I developed my problem statement, then I push it to Copilot. The response I got back from Copilot helped me to refine my problem statement because I now discovered that I was thinking more from the solution side of the problem. So it's almost the same thing I got back, but AI was able to stay at the problem level without talking about solution. I was talking more from the solution side, and I was like, oh wow, this is a better output. I'm a PM, even though I know the solution, let me allow my engineers to brainstorm on that and to have that agency to be able to handle that part. Let me stick more with the problem, and I was able to get a problem statement out of it. Your vision statement, I read in the past that one way to bring the vision out is to create a narrative, a story around your vision statement. And at Microsoft, when we're building Mesh, I can remember that in part of the vision deck, we had something like a cartoon that as a PM, when you join, you can go So you can go and you just, if you don't want to read the bulky document, you just read the cartoon representation of the vision of the product is animated, and you just almost immediately absorb what your product is, and you can start adding value. So I try to replicate that with AI in one of the projects that I engaged in recently. I have my vision statement, and you can all try it. And I asked AI to generate a narrative based on that vision statement. And it gave me a beautiful story, right? And I asked AI to transform that story into a play, a dialogue that I can use to create like maybe a whiteboard animation. And I got that out. So just imagine I need to engage engineers, stakeholders. I want them to be excited. I can use that also to drive home the vision of the product. So they are not just seeing a vision statement, they are seeing like a story, people having that problem, they approach the bank and somebody, and that narrative, I can even take it as as a material to produce a jingle. If I'm taking it to market and say, okay, my marketing team, take this narrative for this product, go and produce a commercial for me. So those are areas and many more that you can think of that you can apply AI in your product development life cycle. So Favor, I don't know if I answer your question.
Yes, you did, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
Mm.
I think we're almost at the time. I could see folks leaving already.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us once again, Bolaji. And this night was great. It was awesome. I was able to learn how to make use of AI as a product manager, and I'm sure a lot of us have also gained from this session.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's a
All
pleasure.
right. Okay. So thank you very much, and good night, sir. Do have a lovely week, sir.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you,
night,
everyone.
everyone.
Good night, sir. Good night, Bolaji.
Very
That was
much,
great.
Mr. Bolaji. Good night.
Thank you.